I'm Steph Barter, I'm in second year and I study geography. I'm from southwest London, but very outskirts, so it's quite quiet, it's not like a busy part of London. And I just went to a state school and I stayed there for sixth form as well. And my friends at home are all quite similar to me, we all like to sort of like go out but we're also quite quiet and introverted, we can kind of be a bit of both. And yeah, it's just quite a sort of quiet place, but it's got links to the bigger things, so it's not completely desolate and quiet. I'd say my passion is probably trying to make a difference, make a change, trying to find ways to solve problems, things like that. That's why I do geography. I care about things like the environment and issues like that. And things that make me tick is probably just closed-minded people who aren't willing to listen to even the other point of view and understand things. I chose to come to uni because I was actually really unsure of what I wanted to do. I didn't know whether I wanted to go to uni or do something else in the first place, and no one in my family had been to uni before, so it was quite hard to know what to expect, and none of them were that on board with it either. They didn't really want me to go because for them it was like they went straight into work, so they were like, why don't you? But I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I liked the idea of having a few years of where I could try different things and do a course that I enjoy. So I came here and I chose Nottingham because I loved the campus. I thought it was so nice where it was so green and really, really pretty, and all the societies, and it's so big here. And I wanted to move away from home as well. I didn't want to stay too close to home. Yeah, so first of all, I looked at what was online. I wanted to see sort of like what modules my course entailed and what they looked at, because that was quite important to me because I knew what parts of geography I liked. And then I came and looked at the campus. I came to an open day, so I got to like go on a campus tour, and that's when I really, really like loved the campus and saw how pretty it was. At the open day, we were toured around by a student, so I was able to ask them questions, and that was more general things like about the university and societies and the libraries, like the logistics of uni and like catered versus non-catered halls, things like that. But then in terms of my course, I pretty much had all I needed from online and from attending like the course talks. My parents really didn't like coming to open days and coming to universities with me because for them it was like a long drive, and they didn't really understand why I wanted to come, because for them it was like you're paying, you get a student loan and you don't even know what you want to do, so maybe your degree might not take you anywhere. So they found it painful. But then when they came to Nottingham, they really, really liked the campus and they really liked the accommodation here. And they actually like said, if you were to come anywhere, this is where we think you would fit in the most. And it's since coming here now they're really supportive with it and they really like it and they know that it was the best decision for me. Before I started, I found it really overwhelming. I really didn't know what to expect in terms of the course or uni experience or being away from home. I was really, really nervous to start. So I had no idea what to expect. But then since coming here, I've realised it's actually really fine and it's really not as overwhelming and scary as I had it in my head. The course is like very manageable as long as I manage my time well. And in terms of coming to uni, I settled in really quickly through making friends and things. I didn't miss home that much or feel really far away from home. And settling into uni life, joining the societies and things made me feel so much more at home. And I've realised now everything's a choice here, which makes it a lot less overwhelming because you're not forced into doing anything. So I'm a lot more clear and I'm so happy with what I'm doing now compared to how I felt before I started. I had quite negative connotations of uni before I started, just because my parents didn't want me to come, and I'd just heard of things like kitchens being really messy or like fallouts of housemates and things. And so since coming here, I've realised they're just horror stories, and that's been nothing like my uni experience, because I lived with really, really lovely people. I've met some really, really good friends. My halls were always kept clean and tidy. We even had cleaners come in for us. And it's just, everything is a choice. I never have felt pressured into like going for a night out or fitting in and doing a certain thing, because I think there's just people for everybody here. So you don't need to feel pressured into anything. My first week, the most memorable experience was probably my first night at uni, because it was COVID and we couldn't go for proper nights out and things like that. We had like a gathering in our flats where the people in our block came and we all met each other. And I always just remember like meeting the people in my block and being really confused at how well I managed to get on with them, because I didn't think I'd be able to get on with them like the way that I did. And so clicking with them straight away and being able to like make conversation so easily made it really, really memorable, which is probably really different to like other years that didn't have COVID, but it actually is like one of my favourite memories. Yeah, probably my first ever lecture, because it was COVID, so we had to wear masks and we were socially distanced, and I didn't know anybody on my course, so I got lost going to my first lecture, and I got in there and I was so shocked at how big the lecture theatre was. But then sitting there, it was really nice being able to listen to someone talk and be passionate about something that I was really interested in, and being able to take notes on it and sort of learning how to step up and do it differently to how we did at school, actually just listening and taking notes rather than copying off a whiteboard or being told what to do. The most memorable time at Broadgate was probably, because we couldn't do huge amounts last year with COVID, when some of the restrictions started to lift, we held our own formal, because we were meant to have that if it wasn't for COVID. And so all of my friends, we dressed up really nicely, and we all gathered in the flat beforehand and had like food, and we all took really nice pictures, and it was a really nice way to like end the year and finally be able to do something all together without COVID. It was just really lovely, everyone being together and dressing up and just ending the year on like a really positive note. My favourite place on campus is definitely Highfields Lake. I love the lake there, and it's so nice to walk around, especially when in COVID all we could do was go for walks. It was such a nice experience with the stepping stones and walking around it. Whenever my family come up, I always take them round there, because there's like the rabbits and you can feed the ducks, and the boating lake. It's really, really lovely. So I love going there just to go for walks, or I used to go for runs there in first year as well, because it was near to my accommodation. In the city, I absolutely love donuts. It's honestly one of the best things about Nottingham. The donuts there are just incredible, and they're vegan as well, so it's perfect because I don't have many options. And so having vegan donuts that are that good are just amazing. And we normally go like probably once or twice a term. All of us will get a group together and we'll go, and then we'll take them and sit in Old Market Square and just chill there. It's really lovely. I found Nottingham's really good for veganism. I think because it's so studenty and a lot of us are vegans, it's really good for that. But there is like places like Las Iguanas are incredible for it. Or I went to a really nice, it's called Falafel in Old Market Square, and that is so good. It's all like Greek food and everything like that. And Annie's Burger Shack, absolutely everything you get there, anything on the menu, even the meat things, you can make vegan, which is just beautiful. I love the independence. It's really nice to be able to like cook whenever it suits me and make my own day and my own timetable and time management, and I can just sort of do things as and when it suits me rather than having to work around people. That's so useful because I just like to be able to manage my own time and be able to do things when it suits me. I always thought I was independent before coming to uni, but then it's made me realise that you can only get a certain level of independence while you're at home. Even though my parents aren't very strict, it's just even just things like the food that's available, because I do my own food shop, literally everything is what I'm going to eat, and I can plan everything, and it's never like interrupted by sort of other people. And so it's definitely something that I discovered since coming to uni. I normally go to Tesco's because it's not very far at all, and there's so many vegan options there, and it's just really cheap. It's good for the students with the club card prices. But all the supermarkets are definitely getting there. There's so many more vegan options now. And even like the little Sainsbury's in Lenton has loads of vegan options now. So if I need something quickly, it's really good for that. But Spar on campus as well has some really good vegan meal deals. I think definitely the campus is one of the best things about being like University of Nottingham, because we get the benefits of the campus and the greenery, but also the city, because they're both so easy to get to and within proximity of each other. But there's also just everywhere keeps sort of like Uni of Nottingham students in mind. Like all the places you go to in town do student discount, and it's such like a well-known uni as well. Wherever I seem to go, everybody knows of it, and like sort of like impressed by it. I feel accomplished. I love my course because it's so broad. Because on geography you could either do BA or BSc, so you can either focus on like the physical side of things or on the human side of things. And I definitely knew that I preferred human, but there were some physical modules that I didn't want to completely drop because I'm still really interested in them. I just prefer human and knew my career path would be more human. So I love my course because it's so flexible. We can pick from either sort of topics and modules and mix and match it, but it's also really tailored to you. So I love it for that, because it just means that I can sort of be as broad or as narrow as I want it to be. Yeah, so I have a personal tutor on my course, and she's really helpful. Whenever I'm confused about anything, I email her and she'll give me a Teams call. Or if I'm ever like confused by some of my grades, or once I wasn't very happy with one of the grades I got, and so I emailed it to her and she looked over it and she sat and spoke with me about how I could have improved. So that was really nice. And then in terms of just if I'm ever stressed and things, I've got some really good friends here and everyone's really supportive. And I've used careers and employability a few times, because they've helped me with looking at things like internships and applying for jobs and things. So I feel really supported with the course and careers aspect side of things. So they've looked over my CV and they've given me a lot of pointers on how to structure it and what to include and ways that I can improve and change it. They've helped me write things like personal statements and cover letters, which was really helpful because before uni I hadn't really had to write those for the kind of jobs I was applying for. And with internships, they've helped me. I was really confused on what I actually wanted to do an internship in, and I had some like talks to try and work out where I wanted to go, what I wanted to sort of do after uni. And then they'd sort of like email me if there was any opportunities that came up linked to that. And they put on workshops and things when it came to applying to them, with help on what to expect in the application, how to prepare for the interview and things. So they were really helpful with that. I think I've been inspired by just being around loads of other students who are like-minded and similar to me. It's really nice to see and like live with people that are hardworking and driven, because it like pushes me to do better. And being on a course in such a big course with so many people, it opens me up to the sort of opportunities that I didn't know about because they're doing them. And so I think just being in like a educational environment is really inspiring. Yeah, I'm part of the Sustainability Society because I do geography. It just fit with my interests, and that's really nice because we do sort of like community projects and things like that, like swap shops, and it's just really nice to be around like-minded people and feel like I'm making some sort of difference. And I'm also part of the Women's Rugby Society, and that was something that I literally just picked up and I'd never played before, and I really love it because it was something new. And it's helped me meet some really lovely people, and just things like it gives you really good discipline and team working skills and leadership, and it's just a way to sort of relax because I love doing sports, but I just wanted to try something new. We've done a few things within the university, so we do swap shops, which is where people sort of bring in like old clothes that they aren't wearing anymore, and you can just swap your items with other people, which is obviously sustainable because it's like recycling fashion, kind of like charity shop sort of thing. But we've done things in the wider community like litter picking. Being within the university is nice because it's quite chill. We just meet with other students and they feel the same as you do. And so it's really refreshing to see that, and you just meet really lovely people. And then being out in the community feels a lot more like professional, it feels a lot more real. But it's nice as well because it does feel like we're making a wider difference. I used to play badminton, but at school it just ended up getting really competitive and things. So when I came to uni, I wanted to move away from that. And that's why I tried rugby. But I love going to the gym and I love running as well. And so I started doing the park runs before Christmas as well, which is really nice because it's all other students. And that's through like Woollerton and things, so it's really pretty. I think I've discovered I'm definitely independent and I like to do things in a very routinely way. I've discovered that I like to be busy a lot. There's some people here who prefer to just sort of chill, they'll just do their course and then they like to chill, but I think I quite like being busy and sort of going to work, going into uni and keeping myself busy with sports and societies and things. And I don't think I realised that about myself before, so I think I'm a lot more extroverted than I expected myself to be. I think I just expected to be studying all the time and not having as much free time to socialise and engage in societies and things that I enjoy. I thought that was just going to be like a small part of it, but it's so much bigger than that now, and it's like so much of my enjoyment and things. So I think I expect it to be a lot more education focused than it is. It's just more, I think I've just learned to manage my time so that I can have a lot more enjoyment rather than just completely focusing on education. Before it was just like I'd go to school, do my work at school, come home, revise and then repeat. Whereas now they've seen that I have got hobbies, I have got a life, I've got friends and it's like it's like a skill that I've just sort of managed to develop since being at uni, like time management and organisation and being able to manage a few things at once and actually enjoy different things. Because now my mum still says things like, but you don't like rugby, and it's like, well, no, I didn't, because I didn't know anything about it, but I do now. I saw all the lists of societies and thought I'd love to do all of them, and so I tried loads of them and realised that it's just impossible to do as many as that. And so then I sort of prioritised. I was like, I'd like to, obviously, like my course is a big part of it. I'd like to be able to work so that I can sort of like have a bit of money saved up, but then I'd also like to be able to try something new. And so then that's why I obviously focus on my course. That's why I got my job as a student ambassador. And then that's why I decided to try something new, like a sport, which is rugby now. And I've sort of gone from there rather than trying to take on everything. I think independence is definitely a huge skill that I've learned at uni. Just being able to live alone and manage my food shop and my money and everything I kind of do with my time. But also like my social skills. I've never had to live with all people my age before, and I'm just used to sort of being looked after and sort of doing my own thing at home. But you've really got to consider other people when being at uni. And I think it's sort of fed into probably team working skills. Especially on my course, there's a lot of presentations and group work that you have to do, and the field work we're meant to do and things like that is all team working. On my course, I've had to do group presentations, and that's definitely given me experience in working as a group, because at school we never really did that, or it would be for sort of like half a lesson, whereas this is the whole project where we actually have to get to know the people we're working with and learn how each other learn so that we can all achieve the best thing but in our own ways, because everyone works a bit differently. And then improving my presentation skills, because I hated public speaking and things before, and now I feel so much better about it after having the experience on my course. I've realised that people are supportive of you, and it doesn't really matter if you trip up because everyone makes mistakes and everyone's really supportive of it. And then also just the independent learning, because before it was always like just copying from the board or the slides and doing sort of whatever the teacher said, whereas with my course it's a lot of, you'll have a couple of lectures but then all the learning you do is then on your own accord, and it's all the wider reading that you choose to do and what you choose to do with it. I think it's mostly been okay doing group work. It's sometimes difficult because everyone works differently, and so some people, when you're sat in a room all together as your group, are able to sit there and do the reading, get on with the work, whereas others, I think, they want to come to the room, find out what they have to do and go and do it on their own. It kind of depends on whether you're more of like an independent or a group worker and your sort of concentration levels and things like that. And so I think sometimes it proved difficult because people would think that other people in the group weren't doing work just because they weren't seeing it there and then, but they'd come to the next session and they'd have loads done. So I think it was just more an understanding that people work differently, and that sometimes caused an issue, but it hasn't really been an issue. Most of the time we've all worked together fine and everyone takes on their roles and they're understanding because no one wants to be the cause of any problem. I think the most demanding thing is a lot of my deadlines have been around similar times, so it would creep up on you and suddenly you'd have 4 assignments due in the space of 3 weeks. And so it was just sort of the intensity of work, because I'd never really had that before. It was always just, you knew when your exams were, but you'd be working for sort of 2 years towards them, whereas this is like you could be doing a module for 2 months and then have a whole assessment on it, and then that's 100% of your grade. So sort of the intensity of maybe sometimes how short the modules are compared to how much work you have to do. So it's definitely like time management has come into that, and realising that working the whole way through your module is definitely better than leaving it till last minute. I think living with people that I'm friends with is so helpful because we're all very aware of when each other have deadlines and things like that. So we're understanding when maybe times are a bit more stressful, we can't see each other as much and things like that. And it's nice having that support system. I know that if I'm really stressed, then I can go and talk to one of them, or we'll all go to the library together and things like that so that we can motivate each other. And even things like when one of us is really stressed, a lot of the time someone will like cook for them or do their food shop for them just to take off the additional responsibilities. So I think living with really like nice people and having a good group of friends is definitely nice, because it's a good way to unwind as well, not even just the educational side of things. Like, it's nice to just be able to have people around you that give you a break from it and remind you that even though that's important, it's not the end of the world, because I think that's the best way. It doesn't get as overwhelming if you've got the right balance. I don't live with anybody that does my course, and I quite enjoy that because it does mean that our deadlines are at different times. So it's quite nice because none of us are ever stressed at the same time. So I think that definitely makes it easier to support each other because we're not all going through the same things. We can like sympathise, but we're not going through the same thing. But it's nice as well because then I can go to the library with the people on my course or talk to the people that I'm friends with on my course separately and then not bring that home. So I feel like I can have a good balance between sort of like work and home. So I can go home and I can de-stress and unwind, and then I can be at uni with my course friends and get the work done and like be productive with my deadlines. I'd be quite interested in going into something like marketing, just because I think that plays quite well into the skills that I've picked up at uni, just in terms of being able to use like good IT softwares and different things that I've used from my course and social medias and things, as well as the team working skills that I've built on the course. But I'm really unsure. I know what I like, I know what I'm interested in, but I don't really have a specific plan in mind. I'd quite like to go travelling after uni because I did a year out before, but it got cut short by COVID. So I'd saved to go travelling, and I've kept it all sort of by since then. So hopefully do a bit of travelling and go into something that I enjoy. Well, I started really thinking about sort of careers and after uni when it got to about Christmas time. Because I did a year out, a lot of my friends now that didn't do years out are graduating this year, and it made me realise like that's going to be me in a year and I've got no idea what I want to do. And so I started really paying attention to all the emails and the opportunities, because we always get offered them, but I just hadn't really thought to take them up before. And so it's because of that then I started having like careers meetings, and I managed to get enrolled onto like an Easter internship that the social sciences like course was holding for us. So now I feel a lot clearer on it, and I feel very supported with my sort of like careers and employability. I'm just still unsure because I'm an undecisive person. Well, I'd say geography is so broad, and especially where you have the physical and the human side. You can either go into sciences and things like geology, or you can go into the human side. We've got like political geography and economic geography, town planning, things like that. But it's also the skills that you get just from doing a degree that means you can go into so many different sectors, and hence why I'm looking at things like marketing, because even though I don't do a marketing degree, from my degree I've built all the skills that you can use to go into marketing. So I think even though I don't have an exact career in mind, it's not that I don't have a goal or I don't have any drive. It's just that I'm trying to open up the opportunities so that I do get more of an idea of it and I have options when I graduate. Quite a few people do know what they want to do. There's quite a lot of people that want to go into things like law, because we do political geography, a lot of it ties into that, and they're doing law conversion courses or they've got internships based on that. There's a few people that want to go into town planning, but there's also some people that are really interested in things like glaciology, so they want to go and be sort of like scientists in Antarctica and things like that. So it's really inspiring being around people like that, because I have no idea. But I didn't even realise that things like law could have been an option before I'd met them. But it's actually really feasible just because it's such a broad course and there's so many options that come with it. I think I'd feel really proud because it's a hard thing, like being so independent and being able to learn and motivate yourself to go into the lectures and do the work and learn the university style. And the fact that I could have achieved that in COVID and things like that, I would feel really proud. And I think it'll be really like nostalgic and really nice because I've got so many good experiences at university just related to my degree that it's definitely an achievement, because it's not just like a degree that I think I'm getting like life skills and some really good experiences where I've made some amazing friends. So it would mean like education, but also life skills and some really good memories. I'd love to be able to work somewhere that I could travel and see different parts of the world and meet new people. That would just be incredible, just being able to sort of move around and meet new people and see new things.